Today I think what we want to work on is this plant right here. Well, not his hitchhiker, this cactus. That'll be something for another day. See if I can get a hold of him. I'll put him over here. But it's going to be this aloe. And as far as I know, that's an aloe vera, just your typical one that you break off when you have a burn or something like that. A boo-boo of some kind. I have neglected it. You can see how it's bent over, and I don't take care of it very well. I want to do better. So what I'm going to do is trim all this off, and unfortunately, cover your ears, honey, I'm going to decapitate her and replant. Now, she's in a fairly large dish, and that could be a problem, and probably where I sat her and she had to lean toward the light is probably a lot of the problem. So I want to decapitate her, let her callus over for a little while, and then replant her, but into a smaller pot. I'm trying to get all these larger things redone before winter sets in. So that's what we're going to try to do today. Now, one of the other chores I've done today is to take care of my snake plant. The snake plant is huge, and I neglect it too. It doesn't get watered very often, but I did take her out of her plastic-lined basket, and she is in a drainage pot. But she had some dying blades inside. She's a very, very tall plant. She's just about going from the ground up. She's probably about 5 feet. And I needed to take care of her. I've got her treated, watered well. I let her drain for a while. I've wrapped her in these soft cords so that she can revitalize all her blades and get herself standing up straight again. So I'll release that tomorrow morning. But I didn't subject you guys to the potting of that. I just wanted you to see the results. And I did put her a little label. July 11th is when I repotted and watered her deeply. I want to make sure I water her and feed her at least once a month. And I do that all year. She's inside. She doesn't know if it's spring, summer, fall, or winter. I just feed her all year. Now my aloe here on the side of the dining room under a grow light is in pretty pitiful shape. I'm going to try to behead it, and we're going to start over. So I've got a pair of long, sharp scissors, and I think I'm just going to try right in here. Hopefully it doesn't fall onto the ground. Oh, it did. Okay, there it is. Oh, one of the branches broke, but it looks pretty good overall. I should have put it on a tripod, but now I want to let the end callus over. Let me get my scissors out of there. How can I do this? You know, it's the trouble with making these videos. You just don't think it through. At least I don't. Okay, here we go. Now I know I want to trim off these low, dried up leaves that are in bad shape. those are definitely going to come off. So those are going to have to callus along with everything else. Not sure about this one. Let me kind of take a look. You can see that sap. That is good for burns and all kinds of things. Real gooey and sticky. I'm going to set that to the side because I may be able to find some use for that in a bit. Let me just set it down here on the table. But anyway, now the bottom, we do want that spot to callus over. So I will find something that I think would balance this out a little. It needs to straighten up and fly straight, but I don't want it as big as that one was. That one was probably a 2-gallon and it was way too big. So we're not going to use something as big as that. So I'm going to just lay this to the side and let it dry up. How about we try this? Just going to take this. I'm going to make sure the tops go that way. Now, all those are the dregs. Now, that should be easier. We will let lay there for a few days. Doesn't feel moist at this end, but hopefully this is where I can get it to sprout. Because I would say, I think I'm going to go ahead with this branch. And he's going to, because I at least want that much under the soil. He's going to need that much. He's going to need that much to support a stem. I'm going to bury it at least up to here. So I want him to dry off too. And then I'll just peel these. Looks good. Okay, I am ready this morning to do this. It's going to be a scorcher today, so I want to get out there, try to get this done before it gets too hot. So here we go. Okay, I got it out the door. Got everything gathered up. I chose a pot. Has drainage and a saucer. I think it's deep enough. Got my soil mixed, and I did include the systemic granules. And I think that is going to be the right size for it. So that's what we're going to do. I think I might want to tear off some of this. Not really sure if that's necessary, but I don't know. Is that needed? I don't know. They're so tough. I'm not sure I won't damage the rest of it. So I'm going to be as gentle as I can and plant it this deep. I hope I can get the roots to grow. It looks like that's a root node. That of course is. And where this leaf comes out, that's going to be, I can't get that to come off. Oh, there it goes. That might help to get the roots to come out. It's so tough. since I don't want this to rot, and this new peeling might cause some dampness down in the soil, I probably won't water for at least a few days. Well, probably a week or more. So let's get it going. Okay, here we go. I've got my soil. Oh, let's start with the soil mix. I've got the soil. I did mix some of the chicken grit in it so that we'll for sure have good drainage. And of course, I've got my systemic granules. I mean, basically what I'm doing is getting some of these indoor plants that need potted before winter hits. And believe me, if you wait until the end of the season and start trying to do this, it's so hectic, especially with all the things you have to do in the fall in your own garden. So getting a little head start and getting all the indoor plants done is a help. And I did use my systemic granules. I don't consider this to be more than, let's say, a half gallon, 2 quarts. So that's how much I rated it for. Sorry, I couldn't get the last of that old price tag off there. Okay, so here goes. I have a tissue to block the hole. And we're going to start with some soil. And then, here's my plant. I'm going to kind of center him right there in the center. I think that should work. I'm not sure if we're going to need any kind of a support, but I'm going to judge that later once we get him in. And I hope my systemic is going to keep it from picking up any diseases it might, bugs, anything like that, that would be in the soil. Or I should say, in the atmosphere around the plant. Right now, knock wood, I don't have any issues with mealybugs, I don't know, thrips, scale, anything like that. So hopefully he wouldn't inherit anything from any other plants. Hope this is getting it. Okay, might need a little more soil, but let me scooch it around to get it all surrounding. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay, let me back him up just a little bit so we get more of a full picture. Now, let me move him on this. He's pretty heavy. Okay, now let me feel how solid he is in there. I think he feels pretty good. I like that. I think that's going to work. Now, he's not, as you can see, let me back up this. He's a little bit, not quite growing straight. So I want to kind of steer him for straightness. So I'm going to put this stem down in there. And then kind of support him like that. And then I'll definitely turn him toward the light so that the light will hit him from above. Hopefully we won't have any curvature. But I think that's going to work out just fine. Here is his spot. There's the old yucky remains. I have it on a little black stool, same thing that one was on. And this is how we're gonna set it up. All right, tripod, behave. Same saucer I had on there before, just because there's a little, I might have a tiny bit of overrun. And then the saucer will fit right down in there, and then there she goes, right down in there. And there. Let's just see how that works for a short period of time. Now there were some of the long strands that got a little damaged, of course, when I dropped it. So we don't know if those will survive, but I will trim those off. See this one right here? He got broken. So we'll just let that one go, see what happens. But I think that's going to look real pretty, and I am well satisfied with it. Okay, a little different perspective. I think it's just at the right spot, and hopefully it will kind of straighten up to go to its overhead lighting. But I do like that. I think that's pretty, and it goes with my colors. Sorry, I'm experimenting with fall pumpkins and everything. Let me move these. I think that looks good. So, start working on your plants now, especially if there are bigger jobs that you got to do before it gets too cold. But this one looks really good. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you on the next video.